Paloma.
I'm so happy to see you.
Yes, thank you for the invite. Lovely door.
Thank you. Thanks for coming here.
It's my pleasure.
I'm a big fan of your mind.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so come through. Let's get in it.
Yeah. Great dogs.
Jordan has chosen what he's going to wear and we're all fine. He's not happy with it, but let's not draw attention to it. To you, he's one half of Rizzle Kicks, whose debut album went platinum in its first 6 months. He's an award-winning TV host and podcaster, as well as an actor and advocate for many social issues. His memoir, plug, Avoidance, Drugs, Heartbreak and Dogs, which stands for ADHD, joined mine, yes, my book, on the Sunday Times bestsellers list. Welcome to the club, Jordan. But to me, he's someone who I've seen become a spokesperson for male growth and intelligence. In many ways, I think that my mum is more proud of him than she is of me, and she's never even met him. And it's constant, her reminding me of what an inferior child I am. That's why I didn't invite my mother today. I am jealous in a sort of weird, unknown sibling rivalry way. It's Jordan Stevens.
Hey.
My mum will be so pleased you're here and she's not allowed to come.
Okay.
But where's Jade? How's Jade? Who is Jade and where is she? And don't answer that.
Hello, Paloma Faith.
We all want to know about Jade.
Yes.
So, what colour her toenails today?
It's a dream. I don't know.
Is she as beautiful in real life as she looks on TV?
More.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Do you love dogs?
I love dogs. I was actually almost going to wear a T-shirt that said "I love dogs" today.
Cute.
That's weird. That's your first question, but I didn't.
Well, it's in the book. Do you love dogs? And I just wanted to know, how much do you love them?
Like a remarkable amount.
Do you want to hold a puppy?
What, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can we bring a puppy for Jordan?
Oh my. He's going to piss on me, by the way. Or she.
Well, maybe, but who cares?
Oh, hello. Oh.
Do you love it?
Oh my God.
Isn't it cute?
Is this real?
Yeah, do you want to hold another one?
Is this real?
Can we get another puppy?
Hi, puppy. No, don't go because you're too little. Look how little you are.
Oh, look, there's a couple more.
Sorry, what's happening? Have you rented these puppies?
No, but you love puppies.
Well, I actually never saw my dogs as puppies because I rescued both of them. So this all happened in...
Look, you love dogs, don't you?
The puppy's going to fall off the sofa, by the way.
Can we get some more?
No, you're taking... No. You're taking the mick now. What's happening? Who have you stolen these...
Just all of them.
You've actually made my... it's been a stressful week, and this is actually...
This is Sarah who owns the puppy.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much. So, can you make sure they don't all jump off this sofa?
It's okay, they're fine.
Have they been tested? Oh, this one's on a mad one.
You can hold them and then,
okay, guys,
we can just do the podcast.
Okay. Hey.
Is this beautiful?
Hey.
Is this therapy?
Hey, do you want to say something? Hey, boss. Boss, this one's... Oh, okay, this one is an explorer.
This one's really just not like all my questions
you need to
have gone.
explore.
This one just wrote something.
No. Listen, it's too tall. Oh, hello. Hello.
Do you see that this
This is
puppy?
Is this
heaven?
This is the best podcast I've ever been on.
I'm so glad it is because I just thought because there's dogs in the title.
You are gorgeous, you.
Anyway, this is heaven.
Is the name of the dog?
No. I mean, like this situation.
We can name them now. Heaven.
But, I mean, if they want
heaven,
to
hell,
go...
limbo, excitement. Just all kind of existential terms. That's what I'm going for, doggy wise. This is great. Let's not ask any questions.
We're not gonna.
I don't think we should do questions, Paloma. I think you peaked. You peaked within 30 seconds of the podcast.
They're really excited.
Oh, one's gone over there. Hey, Infinite, whatever your name is.
Majesty.
Yeah.
Infinite Harmony Majesty.
Yeah, one of them will be called Genesis, Nebulous.
You can just
Heaven, hell.
Shall I ask you some questions?
This one will be, what is this, Leviathan? I don't know.
Why are dogs part of the book title, Jordan?
As you can, because dogs are...
The best.
Oh, my heart, man. I'm obsessed. Sorry,
You
let's.
said you might not cry, but I'm not sure
No,
if
this
that's
is like
true.
these. No, but honestly, it's been a week, and this is.
Why has it been a week?
This has just been not just like life stuff, but this is like. I feel like the universe is constantly in a state of flux. So I've been on a wave. So I feel like I'm being just humbled slightly by life, but
This
whilst
week.
other great things are going on, yeah. But it's good. It's good, and
But
that one's
life,
actually pooed
these
all over
dogs.
the.
Oh no, this one pissed.
That's the
That
best.
was hilarious.
That is the best.
We'll just edit it. We'll edit it. Never work with children or animals. So this is more calm. We're back. We've edited it so it looks like the 7 have reduced to 2 because one did a poo, as you've all seen.
And I've wiped it.
So-
If there are marks on my.
Sorry to Beyonce if he shows up tonight smelling of shit.
Maybe it'll keep people away. It's not a bad vibe. Get my own little circle.
Why are dogs needed this week, Jordan?
Dogs are. I mean, listen. Let me just. There's something about dogs that I've learned a lot from having to rescue dogs, and that's why they're included in the title. When I rescued my first dog, Spike, the intention was for me to rebuild my understanding of love as a simple exchange. And I think that's what a lot of people are drawn to with dogs, especially with men who might find it more difficult to understand that exchange for whatever reason.
Like the simplicity of
Yeah, I wake up, I feed the dog, I love the dog.
care and
care
nurture
the
for
dog.
something.
Yeah, and the dog will be happy I'm there. And that's, I think, with humans, especially as we get older, things become more complex. We often hold grudges, we struggle to forgive. With dogs, within reason, they kind of they might get a little yelp or moan, and then they're just happy that you're there. It's such a sweet exchange. And so it meant a lot to me, and it helped me, again, rebuild my sense of love, rescuing my first dog. And then when I met Jade, about a year and a half in, we rescued another dog called Mimi, and she's like the opposite of Spike. Spike's super chill, super calm. He's quite bizarre. And then Mimi's like really, really...
She's a PA. She's highly strung.
She's like, yeah. She's like, row, row, row. She like barks. Yeah. She barks a lot, and she guards. But then once you're in with her, she doesn't trust people straight away. All right, Bubba. She doesn't trust people straight away, but once she does, she gives so much love. She's full of love.
Yeah.
And she also gave me that as a little, reminder that I think maybe perhaps her wariness of people isn't, again, the most naive approach. I'm very much, hey, what's going on? How are you?
Do you trust everyone?
I'm very trusting, very
really?
quickly. Yeah,
Do you think, are you gullible or not?
I would like to believe I'm quite a good reader of energy, but I naturally appeal to people's potential for good. I'm never I don't want to question whether or not somebody can be kind and lovely. I think everybody can, but some people I find it easier to engage with than others. But my point is, I'll go up to somebody with the belief that
there's poo on this book. Sorry. Tell me something mad. Have you spent your life being told that you're different or unusual?
One thing I did do, actually, that you just reminded me of. When everything first kicked off with Rizzle Kicks and I started doing drugs, I was so unsure of who I was that I remember consciously deciding at one point that I would act as weird as possible so that I'd have it as a safety net.
What, you'd acted weird sober or on
No,
drugs?
I would act generally. I would just say and do bizarre shit.
Why is it safer?
Because then people would go, oh, don't worry, he's nuts.
Like a sort of a refuge.
Yeah. I actually created it as a I remember thinking...
Was your way of dealing with, you mean like public scrutiny,
well, yeah,
the glare of the camera and the tension and all that?
Yeah, and responsibility. And just and holding myself to account.
You absolve yourself of responsibility if people
nuts.
are just a bit mad.
Yeah, Jordan, he's a bit nuts.
That's interesting. That's a refuge in itself.
Yeah.
Do you know what's a really weird thing in our industry as well? It's I've been called mad all my life, but I've never done a drug ever. in my whole life.
Great. You're just high off life.
I don't know if I'm high, but I just want to know, like, can I run through a list of drugs and you tell me what each one's like in like a couple of
Yes.
words?
I
Because now
definitely
you're
could.
completely in recovery, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's start with mushrooms.
Yes.
Just a quick description of the feeling.
Below 2 grams, childish and joyous.
Yeah.
Above, it's called a hero's dose. I actually haven't gone near that for a minute.
Okay.
But be safe. Set and setting, that's the rule.
Cocaine,
Overpriced, underwhelming.
MDMA.
With water, great dancing. Yeah.
So what else? Have you tried crack?
I tried meth once by accident.
Yeah.
Because
Meth?
I thought it was ADHD
You've still got all your
medication.
teeth.
I thought it was Adderall. Yeah. It's a tricky.
Was it
This
nice?
is what's interesting.
Was it
I wouldn't
Moorish?
say nice. It was Moorish. That's how I found out it was meth.
Because you were like, I want more of that.
Yeah.
What is that?
I was
What
like,
did it
why
do
the
to
fuck
you?
am I feeling itchy and I want this shit some more? And then, but why I'm an idiot is I actually didn't realize there's the street names for it anyway. So the actual tablets had ice written on them. And then when I typed ice into Google, it went crystal meths. Other
And you
street
were
name
like,
is
"Oh,
ice. I was like, fuck, dude, I've been doing this for like 2 weeks.
Heroin?
No, not heroin.
Not heroin.
Not too far. But it gets complex. I think we could have a potentially really healthy relationship with plant-based medicines.
Yeah, so
I
like
really do
mushroom.
think. Yeah, I think a lot of the trials they're doing on mushrooms
You'd
and
love
as
that.
antidepressants, anti-anxiety. No, this is my opinion. This is my view, right? And I'm gonna fucking stand by this.
Yeah,
right?
you stand by it.
Okay. In the early 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been assured because I've asked people about this and my dad's confirmed it. I don't know what had happened in the 80s, but there was this new
Big moment.
yeah, the 90s was this new kind of approach. There was kind of more support for like working class, I think. I mean, and regardless, there was this influx of ecstasy and people were raving, right?
I was there because I was
Drinking.
raving underage from 13.
Boom.
And because I didn't do drugs because there's a lot of addiction in my family, which is why I don't. So I'm not
Yeah.
coming at it from a superior perspective. I'm coming at it from the perspective of I know it's quite often hereditary.
It is, yeah.
And I know that I am compulsive, impulsive, and a Moorish type person, a bit obsessive, probably because of the ADHD. So I was like, steer clear of that. But I was like going to underage raves from really young, 13, 14, and just handing out glasses of water to everyone. So I remembered the ecstasy thing because I was like, someone gave me a leaflet at school, just have this glass.
Yeah. No, so but in that early 90s, like I hear about that era and people were raving, and I was looking something up about football, and I basically read that apparently in the early 90s there was a massive reduction in football hooliganism because the drug of choice was ecstasy.
I love
So
drugs.
people were going to football matches and they weren't wanting to get pissed and
Just
punch each
hugging.
other. They were like, win or loss, I'm raving.
Yeah.
I'm going out raving. And so
Optimism.
and so I'd ask a lot about, was it really like that in that time? Was there, and most, I can't account for everybody, but feedback I got on my blog and other, and other conversations is that, yeah, around that time, there was at the very least this experience of escapism, genuinely authentic on the weekends. And I would argue that that is way more beneficial to society than whatever binged booze culture we have now, especially in Britain. It's a real issue. There's nearly no redeeming qualities of
But
alcohol.
binge drinking and cocaine
I mean, coke is just
are really violent situations.
yeah, listen, they did a
Arrogant.
They did a test on the coke in London last. I mean, this might have been 5-6 years ago, and they said the purest they could find was 22%. So people aren't even. I don't even know what the fuck's in the rest of
Lenore.
that. People are snorting Lenore, bruv.
Yeah, it's
They're
just
going
like
to the
they
rave.
smell good, but they're acting strange.
They're acting very strange. Why does this person keep slapping pillows?
So, on to sadness. What is rapid sadness mechanism?
One of the first obstacles in my therapy was realizing that I have a very rapid sadness suppression mechanism. So it would, I would find ways to push down how I'm feeling and deflect from it. Humor as well.
Yeah.
There's that famous meme online, which is, did you have a good childhood or are you funny? Something like that.
Yeah.
And so I had to work through it. I had to stop it. I often yawn when I think of really sad things, and that is another form of suppression of the feeling. And then, but ultimately, I ended up in a space where I was being totally motivated, or I was running off of the avoidance of feeling. you know. So I was living a life in a way that could help me not feel just sad that my grands had died, sad that I you know, wasn't able to be mature enough to be in a relationship or ask for what I wanted in a relationship. You know, there's loads of different griefs. Pertaining to fame, obviously it's a difficult one to say publicly, but the loss of anonymity is also a grief. You know, that's like a bizarre thing to go through, to just suddenly not be,
It's a
you
weird
know,
one, isn't it? Because there's this like self-awareness of the fact that if you say that out loud, you're like
you see, yeah,
not
you can't
grateful or
yeah, yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
and people watch it and go, well, you know, you're ungrateful because
I got
what
told that a
I'd
lot.
give to do that. Back to your heartbreak bit of your book.
Yeah,
So, do you think that heartbreak has been the source of the most saddest you've ever been?
yes. For what was most what's been most difficult to, I guess, contextualize, but it's the reason I wrote the book, because it's morally ambiguous and that's interesting to me, was that, yeah, in my case, I had, you know, betrayed someone I said I'd, you know, was in a relationship with, but I was honest about it, and then they left me, which I think is good, you know, that definitely good, because it propelled me into confronting my own bullshit. And I was devastated I'd hurt someone. I saw it in real time, you know. But the other mad factor about it was I had an abandonment wound anyway from when I was a kid. A lot of kids do, you
Yeah.
know. And so in being left in adult times and in that time, that makes sense. People hear it, yeah, you cheated, the person leaves, is cool. But the little boy in me doesn't not, it can't rationalize that. So it was just like somebody I'd exchanged a loving, I had a
Has
loving
left
exchange
me.
with, has disappeared because I said something. So I said something and they've gone from my life. And said, you know,
You said and done something. Yeah.
yeah, of course. But I mean,
Yeah.
as in, all I was processing was I said something that was, it was true, that because I, you know, in error, and then somebody had disappeared. So that was all it was. And it sounds ridiculous, I know. This is what I mean, or why it's interesting to write about, because it's, I was then left with this, I was torn apart by it, because it had opened up this other thing I hadn't worked on, which was I hate people leaving my life, you know, in spite of my actions. And also I hadn't dealt with, I was devastated that both my grands had died years before. There was another really sad death in my life that I'd again had to kind of push to the side because of my responsibilities with fucking, you know, being a pop star or whatever. And so it all hit me at once. I cried about my grand dying literally the day after. The day after my ex left me, I was crying about my grand, because I was suddenly like, what the fuck?
All
I
the
pushed,
loss.
yeah, all the loss. And then, yeah, then what do you say? What do you say to someone like, why are you in triple therapy? Oh, because I cheated on someone and I'm devastated. Like, it does,
Yeah, do you
there's
think that
no,
this is me being devil's advocate. Is there the argument to say that sometimes being honest about your failings is more about you than it is about the other person? And would it have been kinder not to tell her?
well,
The big
this is the
question.
big question. Yeah, this is, you know, I think the middle ground in that situation is just leaving a person and
But
not
then what
necessarily
if
giving.
they don't understand
Well,
why?
yeah, but I don't understand the other option. Like in my,
I don't know what the options are either.
so I think from my perspective, in my life, I value honesty above anything. Like that
Yeah.
is my number one.
Same.
That's my number one value. So if somebody is even in the wake of doing something fucked, like you know, betrayal, I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe theft. I don't know what kind of situations where you know there's going to be a break. I personally, just me, I would always have an element of respect there, like
I
a
would
level.
prefer to know as well. Like for me as a receiver, if I was in a relationship with somebody who cheated on me, I would rather they told me.
Well, a lot
That's
of people
just
say
me.
no, but a lot of people say that, and then, you know, Esther Perel says this relationships like
I love
therapist that
her.
everyone
Yeah.
listens to, but she says that, you know, people say they want to hear the truth, but then in reality, and look, and there was definitely that people believe that it's selfish, it hurts the
Have
person,
you
you have
thought
to live
about
with the
what
guilt.
drove you to do that though? Like to actually cheat because it's either A, did you actually subconsciously not want to admit yourself that you didn't want to be in that relationship anymore?
Yeah,
Or B, was it because you were looking for validation because you were
no,
quite insecure?
well, that was just a theme anyway. But no, I was angry. a lot of my issues with self-destruction was birthed from my inability to express anger, and not anger in a sense of like rage, like rah, just in sense of boundaries. I didn't have any idea of how to be quite open of I don't want this or I don't want to do this. And when I trace back all of my moments of all of my spirals where I've done a bunch of drugs and basically fucked up every intimate relationship I've been in, there's always been a trigger point that's finding out that someone's I can't think, like there being a loss in my family, or pressure from a record label, or somebody has told me something about their life that will just like pivotal moments where I could just, or I'm within my rights to be like, no, I don't want to do that, or this made me feel this way. I've taken out on myself. I've gone, okay, and then I just hurt myself. So all it was
was still do that?
No, not anymore. No, I really believe in being clear about how I feel.
Yeah,
that's one of the big learn in my relationship. Yeah, I know exactly what I want from love now, so I'm very clear with Jade about those things. And
what do you want from love?
I realized that I respond quite badly to, just even minor withdrawals of affection. Not as human beings, we're bound to do it when we're frustrated. Like say you get into a little dispute, you might hang up the phone without saying love you, or you might be a bit short. And I need to be in my relationship, I need to know that we're on the same team like the whole time. So even if there's a disagreement, we still are responsible for creating the bubble outside it. So there's still a love you, there's still an understanding that this is within the safety of a relationship. Because if I don't have that, then I'm left with
your own thoughts, wild.
And I know I'll start plotting an escape. I'll start thinking of reasons why it's not working. My natural inclination is to run away and hide and isolate, like in terms of intimate relationships. So I've had to push against that. But yeah, that was certainly the reason why I was self-destructive. And just to finish on that, to be clear about it, I thought that truth was important in that moment because I was tired of my relationships going wrong at the expense of my actions, and so I wanted to face them. I wanted to face and look, some people might say that's unfair because but in my head I'm like, this person needs to know who I really am. That's who I really am. I fucked up. That's the truth of it. I could have delivered it better for sure because I wasn't.
Do you think you just didn't want to be in the relationship and you were too cowardly to get out of it?
Oh, it wasn't even cowardly. I wasn't even aware that I didn't want to be in it.
But in hindsight,
yeah, of course. Didn't. In hindsight, we didn't work at all. Not at all. Just mad that we were even together. Genuinely. When we look at our respective partners now, whatever, it's just like, oh right, yeah,
this is better.
Yeah, like literally the opposites of each other, both. It was just like an unfortunate. And look, I definitely wish, Paloma, believe me, I wish that I grew up. Was thrown into this fucking wild whirlwind of notoriety in my early 20s. I wish I had the people around me to go, Jordan, you know what you need right now? Immediate therapy, emotional stability, understanding, and the ability to communicate and commit in a grounded relationship. Like, I'd love that. I'd love to have not pissed people off all through my 20s. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't feel great.
I don't know.
To hurt people. It feels pretty shit.
It's shit.
So it's kind of something we should avoid.
Yes, and
even if it's for selfish reasons.
My personal belief is it's impossible to hurt another person without harming the self. Like
100%.
I wouldn't want people to think that people cheat because they love themselves too much.
No,
because I think people think that. You don't
quite
think
often
other
people are insecure and want validation externally. There's loads of reasons.
But like hurting like having like a binding kind of like emotional or spiritual contract with a person, and it's been clear that way, and you break that comes at a cost to the person, whether or not they show it or not. And that makes me feel sad because I know a lot of people. I know people who are so uncomfortable with being loved, like just even the idea of somebody loving them for a long time makes them so uncomfortable with the fear that they could hurt them, that they will go and hurt them first, It's birthed out of a fear.
So sad.
Yeah, it's birthed out of a fear. And then they just return to the place they were always supposed to be. If they go like, you're a piece of shit, or you cheated on me, you're selfish, fuck you, and I'm leaving you, and then they're like, oh yeah, I know this place. This is where I've lived all my life.
Familiar.
Yes, just isolation and disconnection. That's where I've been.
The familiar is easier than the new sometimes.
Yeah, that with self-sabotage, we literally create the scenarios we're used to. That's our ego in full effect. It's like, oh, wow, this person seems to feel as though they can, help me balance myself for the rest of my life. I know what I'll do. I'll take loads of drugs and break their heart. That'll be great. And then I can go back to that other place. Oh yeah, when I'm
I know
scared
what
of
to do
things.
here.
Yeah, I know how to do that. It's
Yeah.
easy. That's why I would suggest to people, you know, who said something amazing about love, and that this stayed with me. This was my game changer. I'm sure Joni Mitchell wrote an essay once about love, and in that, or maybe she responded in an interview, and she basically said that having these perpetual fleeting relationships made her feel as if she was just continuously meeting like a curated version of herself again and again. It was only in a long-standing commitment that she was pushed into reviewing who she really
Her
was.
actual self.
Yes, and that when I read that, Paloma, that stayed with me, because I was like, if I really do want to work on myself and meet myself, I feel like I almost have to be in a long-standing committed relationship, because that's truly difficult. Like, that's actually hard. That's the irony. Like, that is, you know, we pride ourselves in this world of going through difficult challenges. That's arguably the hardest challenge there is.
Waking up next to a mirror every morning
Every
for
morning.
25, 30, 40 years. Terrifying.
Yeah.
What about being caught? Have you ever been caught? Not necessarily for cheating, but just anything, like the feeling of being caught for something that
Like, caught out.
Yeah, or like it could be in childhood. I remember it a lot in childhood, like feeling like, do you have any times when that's happened?
There was like a memory I got, like a core memory of taking some money from my godfather when I was a kid, because I didn't actually understand what stealing was. I just knew that we didn't have any money. Like, my mum would constantly be like looking for money. So then I saw
in between the sofa, or the pockets of the jacket,
all of that.
Yeah.
So I saw some money on the table, and I just like put it in my pocket, and then I showed my mum, and then she obviously made me go back and give it back to him. But I remember that first shock of the fact that it wasn't okay. I had no idea.
Just realizing for the first time.
Yeah, I had
wasn't
absolutely
okay.
no idea that just based on my mum's face, like, what do you mean? Like, you know, no, you have to take that back. You know, I was like, okay, I will. And, you know, I remember walking up these stairs, and they just seemed like the biggest stairs in the world. You know what I mean? Back up to my godfather's flat. Obviously, he wasn't annoyed.
Yeah.
He thought it was
How old
sweet,
were
if anything.
you?
I mean, literally like 6, you know, 7, something like that. But I remember
Because I've
that.
always been obsessed with being caught. Like,
Oh, you want to get caught?
no, I hate the feeling of being caught. And so somebody said to me, the best thing about being honest is that you don't have to remember any lies.
Yes.
Like,
well,
so
then that's what I'm saying about it, though. That's the
Same.
word. It's almost like a.
No, but we're
it
on the
sets you
same
free.
page.
Honesty sets
Yeah.
you free. You can, if you live in your truth.
Well,
there's
you're
nothing to
completely
hide from.
relaxed all the time, because you're completely,
Yeah.
you know, if you're a liar, then you're constantly worried about
Doesn't
getting caught.
Doesn't it like it actually blows my mind that people can just lie. Like, I understand. Listen, I'm not. It's not like I haven't exclusively told truth all my life. Like, I understand omission for sure. You know, or like you say, like maybe there's a way of wording things but I've met people in life that will literally look me dead in the fucking eyes and tell me something that didn't happen.
Compulsive liars or whatever.
That freaks me out.
As a neurodivergent person,
Oh, the
we're all
injustice kills me.
obsessed about justice.
The injustice kills
So
me.
just that, the injustice of a lie, and you're standing there and you're like, you're going to barefaced lie.
Barefaced lie. I didn't know you could do it, because I had to deal with that abandonment wound that happened in my heartbreak, where like I've said a truth and someone's disappeared. I did have to work on repairing that, because when I went back into a relationship, I then started lying. Because
you've lied.
Because again, admitting more than lying, but like,
Yeah.
because I was so terrified of being
the truth
abandoned.
being
Yeah, I've got past that now.
Yeah,
but I'm
of
saying
course.
that's the consequence too of you know, the complexity of having to
pendulum
live in
of
your truth. Yeah, like you have to live in the consequences of your truth as well, which is, you know, a lot of people don't say shit because
Fear.
it's hard. It's hard to suffer on account of your truth. It's like
Hard to admit who you actually are as well.
massively.
And you're like, I'm really sorry, but I'm actually not as great as my Instagram account suggests.
And we get punished a lot.
But
in our
that's what this
society.
podcast is about. It's about admitting, like, and like feeling relieved about the fact that we're all completely fallible, and that we've all made mistakes, and we've all done crazy things, we've all done bad things.
Well, that did drive me, you know, I know we're talking about sad, but that did drive me to, oh, actually, are we on bad now? Because we're talking about
We're
cheating.
doing all
Okay,
of
yeah.
them. We're jumping around, aren't we, Jemima?
One bit I was particularly ashamed of which I've seen repeated in some films and stuff, is that there was one point where I was so desperate in my heartbreak, I was so desperate for my ex to speak to me, which she shouldn't need to have done, you know, that I like really considered hurting myself, just, like almost for attention.
To get attention.
And I remember there's like a Lauryn Hill lyric, is it like, and when I tried to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay. This is crazy. And
yes.
Yeah, and I, you know, obviously that album is just like my favorite, one of my favorite albums ever. And I remember hearing that song, I'm like, this is crazy. And I remember thinking about that lyric a lot, but I never thought I would embody it, you know. And there was a point, I never did, but there was a point where I was almost on the point of rationale. Like, if I just walk out in front of this car, make sure I don't die, then it will be so tragic that I'm like in hospital.
She'll have to cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't find that.
It's fucked, isn't it? How fucked up is that?
Do you know how many mothers, like, as all the mothers I know feel like that?
What do you mean?
Like, most mums are struggling under the social expectation, all the expectations of ourselves to be so many things.
Yeah.
That sometimes a lot of mums have that fantasy of like,
just being relieved.
I just want to go to hospital, not with anything terrible, but for like 3 or 4 days, so that everyone can understand how much I have to do on a day-to-day basis and do it for me.
Yeah.
For like 3 or 4 days, and then maybe acknowledge what I'm doing.
It's attention I couldn't give myself.
Yeah, and fantasizing about a tragedy so that you can get the love and attention that you really would like for yourself, either externally or internally.
Yeah, I can really imagine that. That's like, that is are these parents with,
like, we'll just
is it mums without support?
No, we're all
or
just
mums
in the school playground, just like sitting there, and they're like, sometimes I just wish I could go to hospital for 3 or 4 days.
But
because then no one would be angry with me and say like I'm a bad mum for wanting a break, and I'd have like no judgment for the break, but I'd have a break, and then everyone would be really grateful for what I do as well.
It's fucking wild.
Quite common.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I don't want Jade to ever feel like that. I'd want to like hope I could pick up enough slack.
Well, you sound like you're doing a lot of work on yourself, so you're a rare and healthy.
Well, no, I haven't started doing the fatherhood thing yet, man. I'm not under the false.
But I think you'd be brilliant at it.
Well, I'm very confident. I say this again and again because I get asked a lot about fatherhood nowadays, even though I'm not one, just because of the general conversation. I know it's gonna fucking rattle me, mate. It's gonna rattle me.
But it is, because what do you think? This is a good question. What do you think about fathers that are really important?
It's the counterbalance. Everything in life. This is what I believe, and this is why I said before, even though I'm open-minded about like even relationships, partnership, I'm not. I'm so set on it as a concept because it's balance, it's yin yang, it's light dark, it's, you know, it's good bad. Some people say, you know, but it's not that there's a good cop and a bad cop, but you get what I mean. Is that rule for all of our theories and whatever? For every force having an opposite, that's set in stone. Think like men are incredibly capable of providing nurturance and balance and, you know, stability and I see it. Honestly, I'm an optimist with this stuff. I know on the internet is rife with people fighting each other, but in my frame of reference, yeah, man, I'm seeing loads of men try and break generational patterns, trying to step up for their kid,
do the work.
Yeah, man, like they want to be there. They don't want a situation where their partner is
wants to get hit by a car.
Yeah,
like for arrest.
Yeah, because you know they might be the product of that, and they understand what they wished was there.
You make me feel hopeful about the future of the genders, because I feel like you're very masculine, but in a positive way. It's not toxic.
Listen, I have as much a propensity for fucking up as anybody else. You know what I mean? Like my book is me really making it clear, that I'm not a good person. I don't believe in the concept of a good person. I think a lot of the issue with gender debates at the moment is this puritanical approach to life, as if people aren't able to fuck up and then learn from those errors. people can fuck up loads and loads and loads to the point where, yeah, let's maybe not engage with them. But more, I think people don't give other people enough credit, human beings enough credit. And then when we're generalizing and making assertions on huge swathes of people because they're wanting to just let out a bit of anger or
Scapegoat a
I
group.
I get it, but I want a world where our communities are built around what we have in common, you know, and we can fight on the things that will benefit us all. Like, if you think about man and woman as a split, that's crazy. That's like the world's in half. You're telling me that there aren't 4, 5, 6, 7 other attributes of a human being that you can connect with, rather than
We're all on a
that
spectrum anyway, so
do you know what I'm saying?
everything's very fluid. Like you said, there's no real such thing as a good person, because we're all capable
I
of
don't
bad
think so.
things. Everything's so nuanced, isn't it?
It is, and that's what I mean. Everyone's capable of being a dickhead, literally. You know what I mean?
And we've all been.
And within reason, people should have a margin of error for that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it worries me that people can feel as though, you know, just how they're identified in our social world can alleviate them of responsibility of things. Or, but the reality of it for me with men specifically, like if I am to generalize for this point, is there is conditioning that happens based off of gender, and there are ways of being that, like, this capitalist patriarchy we're in encourages. And the reason why I want to speak out about it, and I'm optimistic about the men around me, is because I certainly think more and more men are realizing how damaging that conditioning is for them. And I know that because the second I start speaking out about this stuff,
Everyone's coming out.
I get the men talk to me. Yeah. You know, women will support it because, like you say, I just appear as somebody who's maybe less threatening than some other knobhead on a podcast who's like, do you know why you can't get a date? It's because you haven't got enough houses. It's like, you know, it's like, is, you know, but, and then I'll be like, well, no, it's probably because, you know, you haven't learned how to emotionally regulate, and you should just start a hobby. And then you've already got a shared value with someone, and that's half the work done, you know. But I know that men are dying for a space to relieve themselves. Like, I know that women face a lot of bullshit, especially in America right now. It's insane. But it's the heaviness of this responsibility to be the man, the weight of that. It fucks people forever. There's so many lonely men in their 60s, 70s who haven't spent a whole life. They've not even been able to get themselves a friendship circle that will be there. The world hasn't been created to make these lives better. Only for a tiny few at the very, very top. Everyone else is just battered by it, man. Honestly, like, and I really truly believe that that misogyny is damaging for men. Like, I really, you know, and I mean, maybe that's just an accepted idea, but I see so many issues in my male community that pertains to a fear of expressing femininity or engaging with femininity, which then manifests as misogyny or this supposed hatred of women. But in my mind, that is just a hatred of self.
Yeah.
You can't, in my mind, you can't be a man who hates women and not admit that is you hating half of yourself. Like, we are genetically half women. Half of my being is my mum. The other half is my dad. I'm living as a man, and you know, and whatever conditioning comes with that. But half of me. So you're telling me that these men aren't rejecting half of themselves and wondering why that leads to coping mechanisms like addiction or isolation, or, you know, that's the toxicity we're talking about. Is isolation, it's overprotection, a total fear of what it feels like to be open. And I think that is, so, you know, that doesn't excuse many of the reprehensible acts that happen as a result, but I don't want anyone to ever get confused where it's come from. That is a human being incapable of connecting to half of their being, and that's sad.
It is. Brilliant. Well summarised. Have the puppies gone?
I'll have another one, actually.
You want to?
Yeah. Another puppy, please.
Yeah, this is like pop stardom.
Will, puppy, please.
This is pop stardom ordering puppies. Isn't this quite Mariah Carey? Oh, look.
Hello, mate.
So cute.
This one's ridiculous. Can you believe there's something in their head?
Look at its face. Oh my God. This is absolutely like Mariah Carey's life, isn't it?
That is a joke. Oh,
It's gone to sleep. Okay, so for anybody who's listening, I really apologise. You must go on YouTube and see the visual, because we've brought some puppies back in light of the next section, which is glad, because we're just kind of, it's hard not to be just really glad about the existence of puppies. And Jordan's face as a puppy has just literally fallen asleep on him in the sweetest way. He's crumbling. He's a shadow of his former self. Like, whatever was going on before, he's crumbled. He's just a little tiny little cuddly animal now. Look, what are you glad about, Jordan, apart from that puppy
I
being
know.
asleep?
I know it sounds like hippie-ish. What, isn't that
I
mad?
love hippies.
I am
Go
a
on.
hippie. I really am glad about the world. I am glad about not the state of the world we're trying to create, but I really am at that
natural
point.
world.
Yeah, man, I'm at that point, Paloma, like where I am walking through forest land and woodland and being like, this is so sick.
Just nature.
Just trees, like what?
How old are you?
33?
I feel like that's quite lovely that it's come early, because my
Yeah.
mum reckons that happens in your 40s.
When you start walking with your hands behind your back.
Or just like enjoying nature and like being able to exist in the moment, not having FOMO and not
Not want for
minding.
more is the dream. That's freedom.
Yeah.
That's freedom. No, I think this is just, I think there's a reason why listen, I went to Kenya at the start of the year. I seen some leopards and shit. I just feel mesmerized by it. And I feel mesmerized by the reality that like being engaged with nature can bring us a sense of peace. I'm pretty sure that if you look at a tree, it like calms your nervous system,
Do you ever get wound up and then look to nature or go, right, Jade, get in the car, we're going to Epping Forest.
every day.
Just
Paloma.
touch a tree.
Yeah, no. If I'm that's my first protocol. If I'm rattled by something, I'm out with the
Go and
dogs.
breathe.
I'm in the woods. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
They
Jordan, for this moment.
Oh, he's pissed on it. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
That's piss. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. But thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed this gorgeous puppies.
This is everything I expected and more. I wanna ask you loads of questions, but I guess maybe
I'll
I'll.
come on your podcast.
Yeah. Promise.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
100%. Thank you so much. It's
Thanks,
been a real
Paloma.
pleasure, and thank you to these gorgeous puppies
Cheers,
for
guys.
coming
Come here.
and shitting and pissing on my sofa.
Wee.
They're only
Mad, bad,
they're
sad.
9 weeks.
Mad, bad, sad, glad. Dog, dad.
Can we do a picture with us and the puppies? Thank you so much for coming, Jordan.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. I'll see you later.
Jordan.
What?
Give the dog back.
There's no dog.
Jordan,
He's.
give the dog back. We've loved you too, but thank you.
Just-
You can't take the dog.